wake up. Barbados, get up.
Good morning, Barbados, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, 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 morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning, Barbados, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning, Barbados, good morning.
Wake up, wake up, wake up.
Morning to you.
Indeed, good morning to you. My team is already telling me in my ear, cue the old man. Yes, the old man is with you this morning. Thank you for being patient with us. We do apologize for the delayed start to Morning Barbados today, but good morning. How do you do? I hope you're doing very, very well today. It's Friday, and it's the day that I enjoy most. As I keep telling you, it's the day I have the best sleep in the world because there's no alarm tomorrow to wake me up a little earlier than normal. We'll look at that in just a moment as well, how we watch our sleep patterns and what our sleep patterns can tell us about ourselves and our health overall and how we can deal with that. But good morning to all of you watching us online as well on our Facebook, YouTube and our website. Thank you very much. As I always encourage you, talk between yourselves, but talk to us as well. So don't dilly-dally where that's concerned. And if you have an idea or if you know of someone whose story you think we should tell, drop us an email. morninbarbados@cbc.bb. It's as simple as that. Send the email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Now, if you're wondering why am I so overdressed this morning because of this little green one here, this is because I am standing in solidarity with this celebration of Glaucoma Week. There have been a whole set of activities this week. And so today, we encourage you to go green in any shade of green there is. And as you do so in support of glaucoma and those who are living with and surviving glaucoma as well, take a picture. Send that picture to Barbados Glaucoma Week on Facebook, or you can send it to Instagram, same title, Barbados Glaucoma Week. And let's celebrate the achievements in the management of glaucoma. So don't forget today, we're green. Whether it's the green hair, the green glasses, the green nails, the green shoes, the green belt, the green on and on, green. And take your picture and send it along to Barbados Glaucoma Week on Facebook or Barbados Glaucoma Week on Instagram. But I do thank you for all of that as well. But as always, we ask you to get your brains ticking bright and early in the morning. There is an outstanding riddle for you to solve. You have not yet done so. I've heard some very interesting responses, but the question remains for you now to give me a call on 228-5562 or 228-5563. Why must it be difficult to drink soup with a mustache? I'm sorry. I had to laugh at the mere sound of the question. Why must it be difficult to drink soup with a mustache? There has to be a level of difficulty there, or is there? You tell me by calling 228-5562 or 228-5563. I always caution you, it is as simple as you see it, or perhaps it's not. You figure out which route you want to take. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Again, this morning, I also want to remember the family of Jackie Marshall Clark. Yesterday, there was a resounding turnout in her passing, a celebration of her life. And so, for me, I want to thank all of you for coming out because, as you know, Jackie was my friend. And so it was an honor for me yesterday to stand and share our experiences with all of you. So to all of you who came out yesterday to celebrate Jackie Marshall Clark, who she was, and it just sounds so strange speaking of her in the past tense, but who she continues to be for a number of us. Thank you for coming out. The family says thank you as well. You all ready with the answer? 228-5562 or 228-5563. Now, coming up this morning, we'll meet some folks in from San Diego. They're here for a reason. What that reason is, I'll talk to them about that in just a little while. We'll have a sit down with the Honored Justice Burgess. We want to hear from him about his journey through the Caribbean Court of Justice. He's about to retire. But I believe you have a caller so far. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning, Jason. How are you?
I'm doing well. How do you do?
I am fine, thanks.
This is your morning voice, or this is just your voice being so sultry in the morning?
Well, this is my morning voice.
Okay.
I just open my eyes and I put on Morning Barbados. And I hear the question, so I just call you.
If this is your morning voice, I'd love to hear your evening voice, or perhaps your midday voice.
You don't really want to hear that one. that is a lot of laughing.
A word to the wise, right? All right. This is Billy?
Pardon me?
Is this Billy?
No, my name is Lana.
Hey, Lana, good to meet you. 4 letters, so simple but so sweet. Lana, where are you watching us from, Lana?
St. John.
Lana of St. John. So Lana from St. John, Be bold. Tell me, what's your answer to the riddle? What do you think?
Because a lot of soup will go into the mustache.
Because it's difficult because a lot of soup will go into the mustache. How are you drinking the soup? How is he drinking the soup? With a spoon or just lifting the bowl to his face?
Well, I think drinking with a spoon.
So if you're drinking
But
with a
if
go
you
ahead.
open his mouth a little wider,
Lana, have you ever seen a
would
man?
not.
Have you ever seen a man with a mustache drink soup? Answer me honest. Yes. And
it's
then,
the correct way you drink the soup.
so what is the incorrect way to drink soup? Let me hear you.
The incorrect way? Putting your mouth to the bowl.
So therefore, you've seen a man. Have you ever seen a man do that before? Answer.
I don't think so. You have
All
never
right.
done it before?
In other words, Lana, you're wrong. Let me keep it short. You're wrong, Lana, okay?
Okay.
But thank you for waking up and having some fun. You're a good sport. Thank you, Lana of St. John, indeed. Also, don't forget today we're also continuing this Parish Friday to explore the activities in St. Thomas as they continue their journey through regathering in the month of March. So I want to hear from you as well. We'll hear from them about what's happening too. So that riddle remains on the table. And so when you're ready, you call me and do let me know and let me hear your answers. Be creative in your responses because I think this one requires you to look outside the box and you'll see why when you get it right. All right? But let's turn our attention now to why I think today is the best day to have the best sleep in the world. And it has nothing to do with the alarm. It has everything to do with you tackling your sleep disorders. Would you believe it that some of us actually do? And we don't even realize it because we figure snoring is a rite of passage. Is it really? Is it really? Or is snoring just for men? Or when women snore, what does that all mean? All of those kinds of things we want to discuss now. Joining us to take a look at this on this World Sleep Day is Professor Timothy Roach, who is a consultant physician at the QEH. Good morning to you, Professor.
Good morning.
Good to see you again.
Thank you very much, Wilson.
All right. Dr. Alison Mears is next to him. She's a special periodontist. I like that. In other words, a dental surgeon.
Morning.
Morning to you as well. And you're wearing your green.
I am.
You take your picture.
I will.
All right, very good. And Natalie Edwards is across from me, a respiratory therapist by profession you are.
Correct.
And so I'll start now talking with you, Professor Roach. Why is it important that we pay attention to how we sleep?
Well, obviously, I mean, everybody sleeps. So they just think, the majority of people feel that this is something natural, I just close my eyes and I go to sleep. But what is happening with when you're asleep, your brain is very active and doing lots of things, and all of your systems are regenerating themselves and fixing themselves. Your brain is cleaning itself out. It's consolidating all those memories. It is learning all the time. It is laying down the circuits that are essential for memory. It is very, very, very busy, and impaired sleep interferes with all of these things. So your immune system is not working properly when you don't sleep properly. Your cardiovascular system is at great risk of heart attacks and hypertension and strokes. Even your digestive system can be damaged by things. And you mentioned that this is glaucoma week. Glaucoma is one of the associated features of deficient sleep.
We don't know sometimes that we're not sleeping sufficiently. We figure the alarm sounded, time to get up and go. And we never realized the disruption in our sleep patterns as we go.
Well, we get used to very
Correct.
quickly to our state if we're having deficient sleep. If we say we don't know, but you know if you're falling asleep during the day. If you're sitting at the computer and you're falling asleep, now you may just put it down to the fact that I got up too early or I did something, but it could be that your sleep is in fact severely disrupted, and you're just unaware of it. And I mean, you mentioned snoring. I mean, snoring is one of the things that is significantly associated with obstructive sleep apnea and deficient sleep. That is not to say that everybody who snores has obstructive sleep apnea.
Okay.
But certainly everybody who has obstructive sleep apnea snores.
I snore. And I found that out because, and oddly enough, sometimes your snoring wakes you.
Yes.
When your snoring wakes you, is that a bad thing, or is it too loud?
It's not a good thing, should we
Oh
say.
dear. All right. Why did I say that?
But the snoring is an expression a common expression of obstructive sleep apnea, which is where your breathing is impaired, your oxygen levels are fall, and so your body is being starved of oxygen, and so you are just not in your best health place.
And it presents itself in different ways, high blood pressure, different sorts of other non-communicable diseases.
It's associated with high blood pressure. It's associated with Alzheimer's disease because your brain is not cleaning itself and doing its spring cleaning when you're in sleep. It's associated with, obviously it's associated with things like road accidents. It's associated with immune deficiency. It's associated with malignancies and cancers. I mean, there's just virtually no end to the conditions that poor sleep can give rise to.
And sometimes we don't pay enough attention to that erratic sleep pattern. We don't pay enough attention to it because we accept it to be the norm. It's just who I am.
Yeah.
Perhaps I saw my grandmother having the same kinds of issues,
Yeah.
so it's just the way we are,
Yeah.
and we take it.
But I assure you, if you get to the stage where your bed partner, which is a politically correct term these days, is recording your sleep and has our phone on your, recording your sleep, then you can be sure that something is wrong, because if your snoring is disturbing your partner, that's not a good partnership relationship.
Why is this man talking about me, sir? In the morning, indeed. But that's good to know that there is the potential that something is wrong.
Yeah.
And if something is wrong, have it attended to.
Exactly. Yes. I mean, you need to have it attended to, and you need to take corrective measures. You know, I mean, there is treatment for virtually all of the sleep disorders now, and Natalie. Guess will show you some of the equipment, and Alison will talk to you about the dental complications of sleep.
So, Alison, the dental complications of sleep, what are they?
Well, we are able to detect sometimes that persons are at risk of sleep apnea, sometimes because of the shape of their mouth, sometimes where their tongue sits in their mouth, the size of their tongue. So we will see issues that arise out of sleep apnea. Sometimes it's associated with persons grinding their teeth. We will see sometimes marks on the side of the tongue because of the fact that the tongue is being pushed against the teeth. Patients will also sometimes have dry mouth because they're sleeping with their mouth open and they're having less saliva as well. So there are definitely things that we will see both that help us to detect that a person might be at risk of sleep apnea, but also that as a result of sleep apnea, they're having side effects as well.
I'm going to link this to a conversation I had yesterday with someone who had a kidney transplant. She found out because she went for a dental clean.
Yes.
And sometimes, do you feel as a dental surgeon that you should keep this to yourself, don't say a word to the patient, or do you feel obligated you should mention that there's another condition that you need to pay attention
Oh no,
to?
definitely the latter. We're learning so much more. I mean, the mouth is part of the body. The mouth is the window to the body, and we definitely see things. And we don't want to scare patients, but we definitely will bring to their attention concerns, and we collaborate with their physicians where necessary. And definitely the diabetes and other things, leukemias are things that we often will detect that have not been detected, but we will see signs of those in the mouth.
And again, we accept those conditions in the mouth. I just have a sore tongue. I probably bit it last night. And you say, okay, I'll just take whatever I need to salve to calm the pain, and we'll press on. And you're saying from where you sit as a dental surgeon, you can see all of this.
We can see that. And I mean, yes, people do bite their tongue, but if it's been sort of sore for more than 2 weeks, then it's a little bit more of a concern because usually that would heal. So absolutely, there's a lot that we dentists can see in the mouth that will speak to the person's overall general health.
So you're just one of the other people who can help us diagnose whether or not we do have.
We definitely try. We definitely
You
try.
definitely try. And Natasha, talk to me, Natalie. I don't know where I get
Sorry.
Natasha from. Natalie, you have some implements here on the table as well with us that can help us understand how we can be relieved when we have these conditions. So could you walk it through with us?
Okay, so correct. After you've gone through, you've decided, okay, let's visit a doctor and get this dealt with because maybe you're snoring, falling asleep. So you've gone to see Professor Roach. He comes back and says, okay, well, you have obstructive sleep apnea. So step one is understanding what that means. And that means, yes, the muscles at the back of your throat getting a little loose at night, allowing your tongue to fall back, right? So he's going to refer to you and say, well, your AHI last night, when we did the study, was high, and he will then determine whether you have mild, moderate, or severe sleep apnea. Then he will refer to me and say, okay, well, this patient needs an auto CPAP. In some cases, it may be that they need a BiPAP. So these are all different pieces of non-invasive equipment that can correct your sleep apnea.
All right.
Okay.
The one on the head, let's start with that if you don't
So
mind.
we're going to get right to that.
Yes.
So the mask on the head is hooked through that tubing to the machine. The machine here is your CPAP machine. It's an auto CPAP machine, which means it adjusts to your needs from breath to breath. So from the second you put it on, unfortunately, you do have to feel the pressure, and I'd say, it's pressure coming at you. We're accustomed in the night, we sleep, we take off our glasses, we go
That's
to sleep,
right.
right? And in this scenario, I'm saying, well, you're going to take off your glasses, but I need you to put on this piece of equipment that is going to push air at you. But the benefits far outweigh that initial feel.
Yeah.
So the process we go through, when you are diagnosed with obstructive sleep apnea, we bring you into the office when you're ready to purchase your machine. And we go through a step-by-step with you, explaining how the machine works and fit you with the mask. There's varying types of mask. I don't know if you guys can see this.
He's going to
Right?
pick it up.
He
there
is
on
going to
camera.
pick it up, right.
And so the mask
So-
is fitted to fit the face and the facial structure.
Correct. And your comfort.
Right.
So there is, like, for example, the mask we have on the head is a nasal mask, so it covers your nose. Probably the least obstructive or has the lowest profile mask is called a nasal pillow, right? Now, quite simply, between the two, the nasal mask is going to provide that pressure over your nose, as opposed to the nasal pillows where it's directed up each nostril. Okay?
Yes.
So everyone will come in, and especially, we're in 2025. If you go online and you look it up, you'll come in and you think, okay, I want this mask that looks the nicest.
Yes.
Right? Until you try it. And then that pressure that it's coming at you, you feel it very intense in each nostril. But you learn to adjust to it.
Yeah.
Having said that, I'll have patients that come through the office that they will put it on and literally start to doze off in the chair as I'm testing them, fitting their mask. So it has its benefits, right? All in all, we're looking at your sleep, the quality of your sleep, not quantity,
Yes.
right?
Right. And that's impeded because the oxygen levels are not quite right. Or the ability to have that oxygen flow unimpeded is quite not right.
Correct.
And so these devices can help us to be able to clear the passage and to pump oxygen into where it needs to go.
Literally what the pressure is doing, it's maintaining your tongue in the correct place.
Okay.
Preventing it from falling back. So if you imagine my hand as your tongue and your airway back here, when the muscles get loose, the tongue does this, obstructing your airway.
So the tongue is the problem.
The tongue is the problem, right? The tongue is the problem. Well, it's really the muscles supporting that, the tongue being a muscle itself, is what's causing our problem. And I'm sure your oral devices are about positioning that jaw and that tongue to keep it from doing.
So let's talk about these oral devices, Dr. Allison. What kinds of oral devices are there that will help the tongue not fall back?
So these are a variety of what we call mandibular advancement devices, and our mandible is our lower jaw. So the tongue is attached to our mandible, and as Natalie said, it tends to fall back. So what these devices do, there's an upper and a lower, and they fit together, and when you put them in your mouth, they will pull your lower jaw forward, and by so doing, pull the tongue as well, and allow the airway to be open so that when you breathe, it's no longer obstructing. So there's a bit of what we call a titration, because we want to make sure that we pull it forward enough, but not too much. And then the patient sleeps with this oral device.
And
So it's
that
custom made.
doesn't change the facial structure too much, does it?
Well, while you're wearing it, you would look as if your jaw is a little bit protruded, because it is. But you're only wearing it at night. When you get up in the morning, we give you another device that you then bite into again, that repositions your jaw and lets your muscles remember their normal bite. You wear that for about 15 minutes, and then you would resume normal. So during the day, you're not wearing this. It's really only during the night while you're sleeping.
At the glance, it looks like braces, you know, but essentially it's repositioning the jaw,
It
so
is.
the lower jaw, so that you're able now to allow the tongue to come forward as opposed to fall back. Because when it falls back,
Absolutely.
it closes that air passage and it creates the snoring and the discomfort and the irritability. And that's what we're seeking to do if we want to have the best possible sleep at night.
Absolutely.
As Natalie said, it's not the quantity, it's the quality of the sleep. And so the dentist plays a role in all of this.
Absolutely.
Is that the only device we can use?
There are variations on this. So you would see on the table, I have 3 others.
Right.
And they're different manufacturers, because what works in one person may not work in another. As you can imagine, sometimes patients are missing teeth. And sometimes patients will have other challenges with their mouth. So we do sometimes have to customize it to what's going on in that person's mouth. So they're very bespoke, custom made, and for that individual patient.
And Professor Roach, I know you've been advocating for this for so long, so long. Do you get the sense that it's resonating yet in Barbadians that we need to take our sleep patterns seriously?
Oh, I think we are winning. Yes, I think that slowly, more and more, the population generally are becoming aware of the problems of obstructive sleep apnea, and of course, there's always a problem with insomnia, which is a far more difficult condition to treat than obstructive sleep apnea. But obstructive sleep apnea is the more dangerous one, because, as you quite rightly said, it's not the quantity of sleep that you need, it's the quality sleep. Because, I mean, I have patients that come to me and say, I don't have any trouble sleeping, I fall asleep instantly, I could sleep standing up, I can sleep anytime. And that immediately raises a red flag, because you know that they shouldn't be able to fall asleep at any time, that they should not fall asleep standing up, or you know, in situations where they need to be concentrating, such as driving a motor vehicle. And so, you know, and we have the techniques and the methodology these days to diagnose the different forms of sleep apnea. And we have, as you see, the techniques and the treatments. The other thing is that I'm sure Natalie will tell you, the patients take one look at that mask and say, I couldn't sleep a wink with that on my head.
We can.
But I assure you, if you have obstructive sleep apnea, you're only too happy to sleep with that, you know,
yes.
because you get the best quality sleep that you've had for years, because obstructive sleep apnea is a long-term disease or disorder. They reckon that by the time the patient attends a physician for that, they've had it for 10 years. You know, so it's not something that needs to be ignored, because, as we discussed earlier, untreated obstructive sleep apnea is not a healthy situation.
It's a dangerous situation.
It is dangerous.
You can choke on your own breath, thereof, even so, and you fall asleep at the most inappropriate times, and you're working with machinery sometimes that's quite dangerous, and you need to keep balance and focused. Our online viewers are saying this is very informative, because I know that I snore. That's one of our online viewers. So now you know, Marcia, that you snore. Maybe it's a matter that your dentist needs to attend to, or perhaps Natalie can assist you where that is concerned as well. But check your doctor first to find out just your state and to have it arrested indeed. And don't assume that if I slept on my back, I shall snore. If I turn to my side, I will not snore. Don't try to work that out with yourselves, because that's what I've tried too, but the snore persists. And so check it out. Check it out. Let's take this quite seriously. It's World Sleep Day, and it's a day for you to pay attention to the quality of your sleep, not the quantity of your sleep. So if you're one who says, I can sleep anywhere at any time in any place regardless, that's a flag that you need to pay attention to. Have it checked as soon as possible. If you're one who says, I could take 50-minute naps in the sunlight, is that a bad thing? No.
Well, if you're taking it in the sunlight, you're going to end up with sunburn. So, I mean, that's not a good thing.
All right. But I can take a 50-minute nap any time of day. You know, there's some people who say that I can't sleep during the day.
Yeah.
I can only sleep at darkened hours. I'm saying, why not? Why can't you sleep during the day? Is that something I need to be mindful of?
Well, you're not
please.
supposed to be sleeping during the day. You're supposed to be awake during the day.
But if I'm tired?
Well, why are you tired?
Oh dear. All right.
Because you didn't get quality sleep last night.
All right. All right, sir. Let me ask no more questions where that's concerned. Thank you, Professor Timothy Roach.
You did mention World Sleep Day, and of course, the theme for this year's World Sleep Day is making sleep health a priority, and that is important because people need to recognize that sleep is not something that they're going to do, that I'm going to do when I'm dead, so I'm enough, or that sleep is a component of your health that you really need to pay attention to, and you need to prioritize getting to sleep, regular hours, and all of the things that promote quality sleep.
That's so important and well said. Professor Timothy Roach, Dr. Alison Mears, and Natalie Edwards, each of you, thank you. You've come with not just identifying the problems, but identifying the solutions. And I'm so grateful for that. Our audience is already recognizing. Thank you very much indeed, each of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you.
We'll take a break here. We're coming back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet.
You know why?
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
God will not give you a job. God will not call you to do something and then not give you the capacity to have it, to make it happen. He will give you the resources. He'll give you the people. Not only will He equip you with ideas, but He will equip you with favor, as He did Nehemiah.
Turn on the latest episode of Infinite Possibilities, only on CBC TV8, every Sunday at 1:30 p.m., sponsored by Covenant Life Teaching Center.
An hour of inspiration.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
His Honor, Mr. Justice Andrew Burgess, is a Barbadian judge, attorney, and he's on the board of the Caribbean Court of Justice. He's serving there as well. He joins me now as he is preparing to demit office by way of retirement. Your Honor, thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Mr. Leacock. Thank you very much for facilitating this interview.
Well, this is a different Pearson. This is Pearson Boyne with you today, but thank you so much for acknowledging.
Oh, I see. Mr. Boyne, I'm sorry for
No, that's all right.
confusing you with
Another Pearson. I know. I know indeed. So you're about to retire. Talk to me a little bit about what you see to have been your journey serving on the Caribbean Court of Justice.
Mr. Boyne, that's a very interesting question. And how you would approach it is by first of all recognizing that I only spent 6 years on the Caribbean Court of Justice. 6 years in the life of a judge or on a court is a fairly short period of time. I spent rather more than that in academia at KFL campus law faculty. I spent over 35 years. But to answer your question, what do I think I achieved on the CCJ? The CCJ, one has to remember, is a panel of judges. And when you go on that panel of judges, the pecking order is very rigid. I was the oldest in terms of chronology, but the youngest in terms of time on the CCJ bench. The decisions of the court are corporate decisions. In other words, to the extent that you can have concurrence on the part of all the judges, you have a decision of the court. Where you, as a judge, disagree, dissent, or where you decide that the reasons which your brothers and sisters on the bench are given are not the reasons you would give, you may also write a concurrent judgment, but the concurrent judgment is gives different reasons. Now, if I can zero in finally on the question which you raised, during the 6 years, my 6 years on the court, I sat in 73 matters in the appellate jurisdiction. And as you know, the court has a original jurisdiction. I sat in 6 cases there. And finally, the court also has a jurisdiction where it looks at cases which should be allowed on appeal or not allowed on appeal. So I think that of the 73 judgments on which I sat, I was in concurrence, I would say over 90% of the time. The other 10% was basically concurrent for other reasons or dissenting. If I may, Mr. Boyd, very quickly say to you, my very good friend, Mr. Gregory Nichols, has seen me on a couple of occasions in Barbados and has referred to me as the dissenting judge. That is, I can assure you that's not correct. I only dissented in less than 3% of the cases on which I sat.
For us who sit outside, we see the judgments, but we don't know what happens inside. Could you paint briefly a picture for us as safely as you can about what happens when a matter is brought to the Caribbean Court of Justice for its adjudication? Yes, that's a very interesting question. Now, the thing is that the Caribbean Court of Justice is our apex court. This is the final stage an appeal can reach. When the case comes to the Court of Appeal, to the Caribbean Court of Appeal, Court of Justice, the papers which consist of the record of the courts below are distributed to the judges. The case is studied, and the submissions of counsel, because there is a situation now where written submissions of counsel are also made available to the court. The individual judges who sit on the case will then go through this documentation, and there will be a discussion amongst the judges as to where the case is tending to go. This is before the actual hearing of the appeal. At that stage, one may very well not have a fixed idea of where the case should go or where it shouldn't go. So you have discussions with your colleagues, and they may influence you one way or the other. And before the actual hearing of the appeal, we have some sense of where each member of the panel is going with the appeal. After the hearing, we have a post-hearing conference
the judges who sit on the panel in the appeal, and we attempt to see whether the oral arguments have changed our views. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And at that point, it is agreed who is going to write the judgment of the court. The judgment is composed by that judge and circulated to the other members of the bench. When once that is read by the other members of the bench, it may be decided by a given judge that he or she doesn't agree with the reasoning, or the dissent, that subsequent reading will lead them to dissenting from the position which is now being advanced by the court. So that is the kind of diligence which is observed in the writing of judgments. I should say quickly to Mr. Boyne that we are assisted by judicial counsel. These are fully trained lawyers who do research for us, and to the extent that we need further research, the judicial counsel provides that research. Very important part of judging, I dare say.
Communities and systems evolve. Have you seen, while you've been sitting in the Caribbean Court of Justice, evolution in any way? And if so, how did it look? Evolution
is a good word. Development, I think, is less dramatic than evolution. I'd say, Pearson, that yes, I've seen the court develop. The court has developed, but we couldn't help but develop systems of delivering justice in the period of COVID. You remember that troublesome period where one couldn't travel to Trinidad, where one couldn't sit together, and so on. So the court has developed extremely sophisticated capacity in terms of IT, international, technology. So the court has also developed systems which allow for the participation of our citizens in reaching the court. So from a technological point of view, I think that COVID has brought a new way of doing business, which has been beneficial to facilitating access to the court. So I'd say that those developments are most noticeable in my view. But if you're thinking in terms of developments in the court's jurisprudence, that's another question, and I will deal with that. I believe you're going to raise that as a separate issue, so I will deal with that. I think
because we've often seen when we watch American TV, for instance, that challenges are made of certain positions made by the court, the final court, the Supreme Court for them. For us, it's the Caribbean Court of Justice, and so. Is there any particular case or matter with which you've had adjudication and it became a point of either the judgment became a point of contention or the judgment became one that is really long lasting? How would you, or is there anyone that you think you would want to qualify as having had long lasting impact?
As I said earlier, Mr. Boyne, I've only been there for 6 years.
Yes.
So my judgments really have not been tested over time, but there are 4 decisions which in which I wrote my opinion. Either I wrote the judgment of the court or I wrote concurring or dissenting decisions. I consider these 4 cases to be an appeal from Barbados called Apsara Restaurant and Guardian General Insurance, a case from Belize called K International Bank Limited and Rosemore, a case from Guyana called Blairmont Rice Investments, and Cayman Sankar. And finally, a case from Guyana called Shir Nabi and Shir Mohammed. These cases span were decided between 2020 and 2024. These are cases which I consider could have lasting effect on the respective jurisprudence. For instance, Apsara was a case which dealt with the question of insurance law.
Mm-hmm.
This case examined an English precedent from the English House of Lords. In the House of Lords, there were two lines of reasoning. The majority had one line of reasoning, and the minority had another line of reasoning. Our court preferred the majority line of reasoning, which I wrote the judgment on that. So I think that for future insurance law cases, I think that is going to be one way or the other. The future courts may disagree with the position advanced, but I think that cannot help but being one of the a case which is going to have some influence.
Well, I don't have a lot of time. I'm sorry to interrupt you, sir, but it is good to know that at least there's one matter with which you believe and you know that your input has been recognized. Very briefly, could you tell me, now that you're preparing to retire, is there any particular passion project that now you'd want to continue?
Yes, I would want to say to you that my life is a bifurcated life. My professional life, I spent 35 years in the Faculty of Law at Cape Hill and 9 years in the Court of Appeal in Barbados and 6 in the CCJ. When I retire, I plan to revert to my original self, which is my academic side.
Okay.
And there's a book which I've written on company law, which needs to be revised. So I'll revise that first thing after I retire, and I will attempt to write a new book on the Caribbean Court of Justice jurisprudence, corporate commercial jurisprudence, rather than constitutional law or criminal law. I'll concentrate on corporate commercial law jurisprudence.
Well, that sounds fantastic. It sounds like a good book. Go ahead.
Well, I hope it will be. Now, but I should say to you that part of this retirement thing does not rest in my hand alone. My wife and kids are planning to coerce me into traveling. Well, my son lives in Canada and the United States. And I have 5 very young grandchildren, and I suspect that I will be coerced into traveling much more than I would wish to Canada and the United States of America.
Sounds like a fantastic plan indeed. And so, as the phrase goes, thank you for your service, sir. Thank you very, very much for your service, not just to law in Barbados, but to jurisprudence in the Caribbean, setting precedences as well, and creating structures for other people to follow in your footsteps.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bowen. You're very kind. Thank you.
You're very welcome indeed. The Honourable Mr. Justice Andrew Burgess, Judge on the Caribbean Court of Justice, a Barbadian, setting about now to head into enjoying life as he sees it, continuing his work in academia as well, but hopefully spending some time with the family indeed. And that's a wonderful thing we all look forward to, but we commend him on his journey thus far and wish him well in his retirement. We're taking a break here. We're back in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
An hour of inspiration, celebration, soulful praise, and uplifting messages that will refresh your soul and fill your heart with joy. Q Gospel, Sunday at 4 p.m. on Quality 100.7 FM radio, bringing you closer to the music, the message, and the ministry. It's your Sunday moment of praise and purpose, where faith meets music. Q Gospel, Sunday at 4 p.m. on Q 100.7 FM.
Welcome to Nature's Discount, the ultimate health food store. At Nature's Discount, we have thousands of quality products at great prices.
Hi guys, Dottie here with Nature's Discount, and today we are talking about Solar Ray, microbiome, probiotics, and why you should be taking them.
And we have well over 3,000 amazing products to help you get healthy.
For your health tips, tune in to CBC TV 8 every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday for Nature's Discount, sponsored by Get Healthy Incorporated.
Our world today is not the world God wants it to be. One of the reasons, which will surprise many, is that our planet, its governments, and its peoples are all living under the weight of Satan's rule. From the beginning of mankind's existence to today, human history is the written record of what it means to live under the rule of the devil. Yet that rule is coming to an end, and what a difference that will make.
Every Sunday at 9 a.m. on CBC TV 8, tune in for Tomorrow's World, sponsored by the Living Church of God.
Week after week, Scold presents exciting reports and documentaries on the most varied topics of our time. Spectacular developments and innovations.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Thus, perhaps I should give them the riddle and see if they can solve the riddle for us this morning. That riddle remains for you to solve as well. The riddle is, why must it be difficult to eat soup with a mustache? They're laughing already. Why must it be difficult to eat soup with a mustache? Would any of you raise your hand to volunteer an answer? None of them will. See? Now that's one of which you have to study this morning. I'm joined by students and a professor from the University of San Diego who are visiting Barbados, as well as a gentleman who is a professor of politics and society. So let me introduce them all to you. Next to me is Rebecca Sugano. I'll tell you what, we'll take a break and we'll come right back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
So here I am again. I was testing whether you can read lips. Could you? Did you understand anything that I just said a moment ago? Did you? And if you didn't, you're like me, blind to reading lips. I just can't do it. But thank you so much for staying with us on Morning Barbados. I'm happy to be introducing to you now a couple of students and a professor from the University of San Diego. They're here for a reason. That reason we'll find out in just a moment. But with them also is a professor in Barbadian politics and society. And next to me, first of all, is Rebecca Sugano. She's the student. Next to her is Corey Gooding. He's the professor of Barbados Politics and Society. Good morning, each of you so far.
Good morning.
Good, got the names right so far, right?
Yes, good morning.
Fantastic. Next to you is Gillian Tallis. You are the professor from San Diego in gender communication.
Yes.
Now, I'm curious as to what that is, but you will tell me in a moment as well. And across from her, at the other end of it all, is Isabella Obinian, the student. Did I say that right?
Isabel.
Isabel Albany.
Isabel. All right. Thank you. Welcome to Barbados, each of you indeed. Welcome to my home. How's it been so far for you, Rebecca?
It's been truly an amazing trip. We've gotten to meet so many people, do a lot of tours, see a lot of parts of the island, and it's been really one of the most amazing trips.
So what have you found most amazing of it all?
I think my favorite thing has been the food. I've had some excellent food here, and also the music as well.
So when you say the food, what exactly did you have to sample?
I've had a lot of different things. One of my favorites was a breadfruit dish from Yellow Meat.
Yellow Meat. Yes.
That was my favorite so far, and then the national dish as well was really excellent.
Fantastic. Yes. And the drinks?
The drinks have also been excellent as well.
Corey, you've been doing well.
I've been doing my best.
You've been doing well. What about you, Jillian? What do you enjoy most about us so far, Barbados?
Oh, wow. I think I've met really wonderful people. It's really also been quite fascinating to learn much more about the history. Unlike Dr. Gooding, who has a lot of experience, this is my first trip here, and I've been able to delve a little deeper into the long history here in Barbados, so it's been wonderful.
Good. Isabel?
Also, besides what everyone else said, I think my favorite part has just been looking around and just seeing what Barbados is like, seeing the scenery, the beautiful blue oceans, and just getting a feel of the hot, humid, but as well as the beautiful sunsets as well.
I'm glad you used the word beautiful. I was just waiting to hear the descriptive word from Barbados and your experience. But Dr. Corey, didn't know that this was a title I should have pelted, but good. Dr. Corey, talk to me a little bit about why they're here and this association.
So yes, this has actually been an extraordinary opportunity made possible through the University of San Diego and the Chapman Family Foundation to bring two classes. So we have 36 students altogether here in Barbados to explore Barbados through two different angles. One, through the politics of Barbados politics and society, as well as to understand gender communication. And Barbados is an extraordinary place, right? I have personal feelings about why it's extraordinary, but also because of the long history that it has in terms of the movement of capital across the world, in terms of from sugar all the way up to the contemporary world and tourism. We also have a chance to understand democracy and parliamentary systems and the sort of long history on that front as well. And that has been something that we got a chance to see up close and personal, by being able to visit Parliament. And that was extraordinary.
It has been extraordinary times.
And just the resilience of the people of Barbados and the global leadership as a small island state, right? This has been an opportunity for them to move outside of the U.S. context and get a deeper understanding of politics and society outside of the U.S.
And so, Jillian, as a professor now, this is part of what you will be imparting on your return to San Diego to your students. Give us a sense of understanding of, now that you've had a close-up view of how we do politics in the Commonwealth's third oldest parliamentary system, talk to me a little bit about what you've learned about the way we do politics here.
Wow. I mean, I think because I'm not a political scientist, I really look at this topic through how people communicate.
Right.
And so I was very interested to see what decorum looks like in the Parliament. But also it's been fascinating. I think all of us have had experiences when we tell folks why we're here. They immediately respond by saying, oh, this week we're talking about the budget. And that has been, I think, universal. And so it really has been quite remarkable to see how informed people are about the politics, and how even in conversations like in a shop, you'll see folks talking about issues about like accounts being what's the word I'm looking for? Like if you have your accounts not being used, and so what's going to happen? So I listened to two women having a conversation about this.
Those dormant accounts.
Yes, dormant accounts. That's the word I was looking for. Dormant. So hearing folks talk about issues and just being right there, like on the forefront of it, has been really great. And I look forward to talking to my students about it. We've been talking during the course of the week, off and on, about what they're experiencing. But I can't wait to go back and have us take stuff that we've been learning in the books and say, remember when we did this in Barbados. So it's going to be really, really great end of the semester.
You said part of your focus was to see how the genders communicate.
Yeah.
What's your taking now?
Well, I think when Dr. Gooding and I were thinking about coordinating this class and bringing our two classes together, we were really wanting to take a look at the ways in which women leaders are working and doing, it sounds like doing good work here in the country. And of course, we were hopeful that in the United States, we would also have a woman leader so that we could do some more comparative work.
Yes.
Because I think, in the US, we have certainly have this idea that women can be leaders, but until they kind of reach that highest glass ceiling. And so we're thinking maybe Barbados is actually a model for us. And so we'll definitely be talking about that when we return.
Isabel, talk to me a little bit. Are you a student of what? The politics or the gender communication
Politics.
or both? The politics. Good girl. Let's talk politics here now. So having observed the way we conduct ourselves in Parliament for the budget debate and so forth, what's your take?
It's definitely different from the United States. I find it fascinating and interesting. It's the setup was quite different, but I learned a lot. I learned that you guys tend to implement things in different ways, and you guys really want the people part of that. Us being there was great. It was open to the public, and I find that really, really enjoyable.
And different from your experience in San Diego.
Yes.
Rebecca, you're nodding. You see, I have peripheral vision. It's fantastic. Are you two a student of politics?
I actually am in the gender communication class, but I also study politics as well.
Okay. So you can give me a complete view then of what you've experienced.
Yeah, I think one thing that was really interesting is just we've seen different clips of Mia Motley speaking, and she's one of people in Barbados have told us they agree, and I agree. She's one of the most well-spoken global leaders, and it's really fascinating to get to hear her speak. We didn't get a chance to hear her speak at the budget meeting, but it was really interesting just to see again how different it was from politics here, and even just to be able to sit in on a session like that would never really happen in the U.S. You would have to get special clearances and work your way up the ladder to get to do something like that. So to get to participate in politics of a country we're not even from is really an amazing experience.
Women taking the role in political life in anywhere, based on the Barbados case, what do you see to be the potential for young girls who want to assume positions of leadership in politics in particular?
We actually talked about this in class the other day recently, and in a
I've
lecture.
been watching your notes.
A lecture we got to visit here as well. But I think it's a really great role model for a lot of young girls growing up in the U.S. and not having a super strong political female leaders that we get to see making decisions for us is definitely a hard thing to not get to experience. So I think seeing how that works here and the idea that a lot of young Bajan women will get to grow up and experience that is really amazing.
And so, Dr. Corey, this is part of what you do. And so talk to me a little bit about how your program is structured so that your students are exposed and not just exposed, but that can really talk between themselves and create themselves opportunities, not just for the self, but for others.
Yeah, so I have, although I'm a political scientist, have a deep love of history. And I feel as though you can't understand the current political context unless you appreciate the history of the place. And so we spent considerable time understanding, developing our understanding of Caribbean history, as well as to think about some of the ideals that people hold, right? So looking into Caribbean political thought, who are some of the thinkers that have pushed against what is and can imagine what can be, right? And that has been a part of sort of how we've attempted to approach contemporary challenges here in the Caribbean, and then how we can learn from those as we try to create a better community in the neighborhoods and the society in which we live.
That is so interesting. As I'm listening to all of this and the Caribbean thought leaders who've pushed, and there's so many. I hope you take the time to read the Caribbean history a lot, because it's not told often in where you're from. But we've had even strong females Caribbean prime ministers as well. You remember the Iron Lady from Dominica? We called her the Iron Lady. She was very much like Margaret Thatcher of the UK. And so she too stood up to President Reagan and said, no. This can't happen, not in our spaces for sure. And so to be able to tell the stories and to learn their stories as well would probably give inspiration to your students as well. We had a prime minister, a former prime minister, we called him the man of the century for Barbados when in 2000, Ara Walton Barrow, right excellent, he's a national hero now, who says, we shall be friends of all but satellites of none. And that's a statement that resonates with every Barbadian till this day. that gives us backbone to say to the rest of the world, yeah, we're fine to be your friend, but we shall not simply be your satellite. We have a position to hold as well. And so I'm sure that literature for you, Professor Gillian, is the exposure to the information is now going to be a part, if not it hasn't been already, a part of what you do.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think that, we have one of the tours that I in addition to doing gender communication, I study issues around dying and death and how people communicate around those issues. So we visited the Newton burial grounds, and I had already been doing some reading about the history of sugar and sugar plantations, and so I'm hopeful that I'll be able to come back, as that space gets more developed, and perhaps do some research there, because I'm very interested in these topics. So I feel like if I can help my students, and even in myself in my own work, kind of maybe decenter a little bit the United States and see the ways in which we are connected, and the ways in which maybe a country like Barbados is more of a leader than we realize. I think I will have gained so much, but then also help my students really do the same.
This month of March, we're celebrating a system called Regathering, a year-long series of activities. It's the month of March, and it's given to the month for St Thomas. In that parish alone, there's a place called the Freedom Village, where the first Barbadian Freedom Village post-emancipation was developed. And so I think resting in that as well, you see all the names when you go visit it as well, the names of people who were enfranchised following the emancipation period, who set up villages and structures and that kind of thing. It's something which you can tell we're very, very proud. So I'd love to be able to share that with your students as well. If you take the time, Dr. Corey, take them to the Freedom Village. We have people here from St. Thomas. I see Senator John King, who leads the whole regathering effort as well, and who can share with you some other ways in which contemporary Barbados was developed through the efforts of other people. And so I'm really excited about the fact that you're here and the things that you're doing. Isabella, what about you? That question I'll put to the side for a moment. But you're returning to San Diego.
Yes.
And what is it do you think you'd like to share with your contemporaries when you're there to help broaden their experience about the Barbadian political experience that you've had?
I think one takeaway that I will take with me and hopefully share is just, along with politics and gender, I think that women can be looked upon in these high societal roles, and that it is possible. Just because we haven't done it yet doesn't mean that it can't be done, and that we just have to keep pushing, have to keep striving, and have to be determined for it.
That's possible. And if you can think it, it's possible. And I love the fact I've had the chance to meet you today. When do you return, by the way?
Saturday.
Oh, I know. Saturday. Yeah. Early in the morning or late in the evening?
Afternoon.
Because Rebecca wants pudding and south.
And I actually, that is a plan of mine. Apparently, I can find some on a Friday too.
Yes, you
so I'm
can
going to see if I can find some so I can share that with them.
You haven't found anything you like to eat, Isabella?
I had the fruit bread.
Breadfruit.
Breadfruit. And that was probably my favorite, but nothing I feel authentic. I really want to try something
really
Asian.
Truly authentic?
Yes.
Now you've caused me to think, because I thought it was pretty authentic indeed. I don't know. But as you go around, I'm sure you'll discover something you'd like to try. There are many offerings along the coast as well, and on the beach, if you have a beach experience as well, there are people who sell what we call ham cutters, fish cutters, bread and fish, basically bread and ham. Essentially, all of those kinds of things we do. If you want to have a nice outing tonight, Oystons, where they can have that rare.
Maybe that's really authentic.
Okay. Then I shall not interfere with their planning. You know what to do. But thank you so much for coming to Barbados. Thank you for taking the story of Barbados back with you, and thank you for immersing yourselves into who we are. I hope that you found it to be a very enriching experience. I really hope so. And see that we are just like you, with all the potential in the world, just like you, and now you have a better appreciation of the Caribbean, and that we're not just one space known as Jamaica, we're several islands.
Yes.
And though we're similar, there are lots of things that make us different as well. So I encourage you and your students to take the time to see our differences as well.
Well, thank you so much for having us.
You're welcome.
We really appreciate the opportunity.
You're welcome. Rebecca, Corey, Gillian, and Isabella, for each of you, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're taking a break. We're coming back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good
Week after week, Scold presents exciting reports and documentaries on the most varied topics of our time. Spectacular developments and innovations, lifestyle and trends of tomorrow, mobility and tourism, health news, highlights from art and culture. Each contribution grabs the viewer with extraordinary images and stories and takes him into fascinating worlds which he experiences here exclusively and up close. We're there when companies and specialists develop super satellites for a global network in space and can look behind the scenes. Scold is a window to everything that is there or is yet to come. Fly with us through time to better understand today and tomorrow. You've always wanted that. Scold, a look into the future.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love cruise. When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
You know why?
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
13 minutes after 7 o'clock, that riddle remains unsolved. I want to give you an opportunity now to see if you can solve it. And if you cannot solve it, then I will give you the answer and give you another riddle. So let's give you one more chance to try to solve this one. Why must it be difficult to eat soup with a mustache? Why must it be difficult to eat soup with a mustache? 228-5562 or 228-5563. Your last chance to try to get this right. If you can't get it right, then I'll give you the answer. But that doesn't mean you stay away from your phone, okay? Give me a call now. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Why must it be difficult to eat soup with a mustache? Why must it be difficult? If you want me to give the answer, folks, you tell me in the back room, and I'll give the answer and we'll move on to another riddle. But so call me now, 228-5562 or 228-5563. This one has been going on for days, and yet none of you has been able to give me a correct answer. So perhaps this is your moment to try one last time. Why must it be difficult to eat soup with a mustache? 228-5562 or 228-5563. You know, earlier, let's take this call. Good morning.
Good morning, Pearson. How are you?
I do well. How do you do?
I'm fine, thank you.
You're very welcome. You are bold as brass. Let me hear you. Let me hear you.
You cannot
Hello?
soup with a spoon.
You cannot do what?
You cannot eat soup with a mustache. You eat it with a spoon.
Is that the only way to eat soup?
Yes.
You know, I've had soup once in a teacup.
Oh, so you put it to your head.
I don't drink soup, but yes, I would have put it to my head.
Okay.
I don't know how you all could drink soup at all, actually. It's not at all. I've never had soup, and I will never have soup. I just don't like soup.
Okay.
But
I like it.
You like it?
Yes, I like soup.
What type of soup do you like?
It doesn't matter. I like all kinds.
Can you cook it?
Yes, of course.
And do people like what you cook?
Yes, they do. I cook it for my family.
Very good. Your family is bold. Thank you, but you're wrong, all right? She's wrong. All right, I'll give you the answer. I will give you the answer. Having heard all, and none of you has got it right, it is simple. You cannot eat soup with a mustache because it's quite a strain. I can see some of your reactions. I can see you. I can see you. Because it's quite a strain. That's why you can't eat soup with a mustache. It was strained through. You get it? All right. Let me give you another one. Here we go. Why did the girl sit on her watch? Why did the girl sit on her watch? That is easy. I believe it is, but don't you? 228-5562 or 228-5563. Why did the girl sit on her watch? There has to be a reason. What's the reason? Why did the girl sit on her watch? 228-5562 or 228-5563. Those are your portals to call me to let me know your thoughts, your answer. Why did the girl sit on her watch? Why? Why did she do something so crazy? Why did the girl sit on her watch? It is as easy as you see it. Trust me, this one is easy. This one is so easy. Don't get too conflated with it. Don't get don't get confused. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm well, thank you for asking. Who's calling?
Chinello.
What's your name?
Chinello.
Chinello?
Yes.
Starts with a C?
Yes.
Chinello, where you got that name from?
Nigeria.
Oh, so your name is Nigerian. Are you from Nigeria?
No, I'm not.
Any of your relatives are from Nigeria?
No.
But
my mother just liked the name.
They just love the name. Do you have any, does it have a meaning?
God is with me.
Are you sure?
Well, yeah.
That's what is that what they told you? You know, that's what we accept it as given. But when you probably dig a little deeper, have you researched it?
Yes, I have.
And that's what you found. God is with you.
Yes.
But you know, that's my name too, Pearson. God is with you.
Okay.
So I guess I'm the mail to you.
Okay, that's cool.
Chanela, you believe me? You believe me for real?
Well, no.
Oh? You think I would sit here on the morning in the public's view and tell you an untruth? Answer the question correctly. No problem. So, Chanela, what's the answer to the question? Why did the girl sit on her watch?
Because she is still.
Because she's what?
Still.
S-T-I...
Still.
S-T-I-double-L?
Yes.
Still what?
The time is still for her because she's sitting on her watch.
Oh, so she wanted time to stand still. Is that what you were saying to me?
Yeah.
You know, she could have just stopped the watch. She didn't need to sit on it.
Okay, well, I guess the answer is wrong.
Chanela, you're so right about that. The answer is wrong. Thank you here. Chanela's delayed. That's all right. But Chanela, thank you. But Chanela's wrong. Nope. That is not it at all. Why did the girl sit on her watch? Why did the girl... Try sitting on your watch and tell me what you got. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning, Pearson.
How do you do?
I'm good. You okay?
Yeah, man. I'm all right. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Ask me again. Am I okay?
You are okay.
Who's calling?
My name is Jonathan.
Jonathan, where are you watching from?
I'm watching from in Christchurch, St. Lawrence.
Jonathan of St. Lawrence in Christchurch. All right, Jonathan, you sound as though you know the answer.
Yes, sir. I know the answer.
Prove me right. What's the answer?
She sat on her watch because she wanted to be on time.
I can tell you to know the answer, Jonathan. Where did you get that from?
I heard that one a long time ago.
And you remembered the answer?
Yep.
You know, there's some things you hear and you just dismiss it and you laugh for the while and then you just dismiss it. But what made you retain this answer?
No, because when I heard you said it, it reminded me of my friend that told me about it years ago.
Oh.
So it was a little laugh between the two of us.
And it made sense once you heard the answer, right?
Yes, sir.
Because she wanted to be on time. Well done. And Kieran is agreeing with you. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Thank you for watching as always. Remember, Jonathan, I have one request of you. What do you think that is? Jonathan. Jonathan. I always say it every morning. I ask you to share the show. Share the show and get others coming on watching us as well, all right?
Of course. Always do.
Good man. Do not keep this fun to yourself, Jonathan. Tell everyone else about it, okay?
Yes, sir.
Good man. He's taken up the commission. Well done, Jonathan. Because she wanted to be on time. Well done. We got some geniuses among us. All right. We'll take a break here. What's that? All right. They're talking to me while I'm talking to you, so I had to pause for just a moment. And to let you know, yes, time will permit me to have some more fun with you in just a little while, so stay by. I have more riddles to share with you. Break. Back in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
God will not give you a job. God will not call you to do something and then not give you the capacity to have it, to make it happen. He will give you the resources, he'll give you the people. Not only will he equip you with ideas, but he will equip you with favor, as he did Nehemiah.
Turn on the latest episode of Infinite Possibilities, only on CBC TV8, every Sunday at 1:30 p.m., sponsored by Covenant Life Teaching Center.
An hour of inspiration, celebration, soulful praise, and uplifting messages that will refresh your soul and fill your heart with joy. Q Gospel, Sunday at 4 p.m. on Quality 100.7 FM radio, bringing you closer to the music, the message, and the ministry. It's your Sunday moment of praise and prayer.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
23 minutes after 7 o'clock. Remember, it's World Glaucoma Week. Remember to go today and have your eye pressures checked. That's why I'm wearing this little green ribbon, standing in support of glaucoma activism, really. For those of you living with, managing, there are options, treatment options available, but you need to know your numbers. Knowing your numbers means you go get your eye pressures checked at every and any optometrist or ophthalmologist this week. Is absolutely free. There's no number where that's concerned other than the knowledge and the information to empower you. So please go to your optometrist, please go to your eye specialist, so to speak, and get it checked. Know the numbers. And remember, there's a little bit of hereditary in there. There's some non-communicable diseases that could trigger the glaucoma as well. So knowledge is empowerment. Don't miss the opportunity this week for free to know your pressure. And today you wear green in all of their iterations, whether it's shades of green, your shades, your eyewear, your hair, your nose ring, your fingernail tips, all those kinds of things. And take a picture and send that picture along, standing in support to Barbados Glaucoma Week on Facebook or on Instagram. Remember, listen all week long for those locations. If you don't know where they are, you can call the number 826-1580. 826-1580. Today, Friday, you can have free checks at Eye Focus. They're located at Lanterns Mall in Christchurch. So today you can do so. But make an appointment and have your eye pressure checked. All right, it's also today Parish Friday. And because all month long we are in the Parish of St Thomas, we shall continue to do so today. And I'm joined again today by the Director of the Regathering Organizing Committee, Senator John King, and Kevin Henry, who is part of the Parish Organizing Committee.
Good morning, person.
You said it before me. Good morning back to you too. Good morning, John.
Good morning, good morning.
And I love that because that's how we do it in Barbados, you know, John?
Always.
We say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, almost as if it means it means something, but it comes so naturally.
It means a lot. I think, and I always say to people, you know, though what we take for granted often is really saying to someone that I see you as a human being, a friend. I'm not combative. I see you. Yes. and it takes nothing off of anyone to tell us someone it's good morning, good afternoon, good night. You know.
That's right. That's right.
It's a wonderful way of communicating. You know, I'm non-threatening to you.
Yes.
I feel good about being around.
Yes. Let that never change about who we are. Let that never change indeed.
Totally agree.
Kevin, I'm not taking away from St. Thomas.
No, you're not.
I know you're thinking that way.
No.
But there's a lot still happening.
Yes,
I mean, we're just almost halfway through the month.
Yes,
yesterday was Q in the community.
Yesterday was Q in the community. Yesterday was also our
numbers.
tree planting. Q in the community yesterday was fantastic. The crowd was there. People definitely enjoyed it. It was, when you got there and you saw the expanse Thomas. It was beautiful for sure. I'm sure Senator King was in the heart of Barbados
I was there. I could not miss that. But you know, I usually go as an observer.
Yes.
And everybody wants to say, "Oh, my King, we want to see this big show, them dancing and thing." You know, I said, nah, let me just watch and see what's going on. And it was fantastic.
It was.
You know, just seeing other parishes turn up too in their colors. You know, and I was like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. And a lot of people that I saw there were saying to me, John, well, you know, I am not from St. Thomas, but when we have our queue, I hope I see you there. So I have to be at all of them. So, you know, don't worry. But it was a good evening, man. Good all through the day.
Energy we're talking about when we talk about regathering as we move around the island, you know, let's come together and have good energy, good energy, fun, explore, expand our knowledge as well, and experience most of all.
Correct.
And for those of you who are watching from overseas, what do we say, John?
Hey, come along home.
There you go.
Come along home. At the end of the day, regardless of if you come in your parish month or you just come.
Yes.
Just come, because there's a lot in store for you. Every parish, and this is the beauty of it, every parish so far has been unique in the experience, you know. And so as we go through, and personally, you just made a point which I want to reiterate, you learn so much about the parish itself, but you also learn about the uniqueness of some of the things that parishes do. Like, for instance, Kevin will tell us a little bit more about it. There's a program or activity coming up called Moonlight Pun Steak. I am still trying to find out what does this mean and where did this come from. But I'll let Kevin tell us a bit about it. But I just believe it's unique to St. Thomas, because I've never heard it in St. Philip.
Never. In St. Louis, never. So what makes this so? Talk to me a little bit about that, Kevin.
So Moonlight Pun Steak is a name of a program that we're putting on Sunday, on the 16th at the Welshman Hall Playing Park in St. Thomas, right next to the post office. And what it is, basically, the name comes from back in the time we had the mobile cinemas. So basically what would happen is that the cinemas, based on the stories I was told, because, you know, I'm a little bit on the younger side of this history, when they come around, it would be described like moonlight on a stick in a moment. And I got this from some of the elders in the community. I also had a story where I know another other parts of the island refer to when street lights came around, that the light bulbs on top of the street lights would look like a moonlight on a stick. So those are the two different terms we've heard. But this ours refer to community gatherings where people come together just to view the cinema and come together, and the people be talking and sharing. And that's what we're trying to recreate. So there's no cinema, unfortunately, on Sunday. But what we do have is that we are mixing it with the Standpipe stories from UB. We're going to have an interactive discussion on the history of St. Thomas, being delivered by Terry Applewhite, a resident at the parish as well. It's not going to just be a lecture, it's going to be a participatory event. And it's also going to be buttressed with some entertainment and performances from persons within the parish. And just give people a nice evening out in the park. Bring your blankets, people. It is St. Thomas. It will get cold. It will get a break for the heat. You'll get that nice, fresh country air. But it'll be a nice, relaxing Sunday evening. Something that people should come out and just try and enjoy something. You know, it's not always about the dance and the walk up and the lights. It's about sharing those stories, that intergenerational linkages, understanding the history of the past and where we come from, where we're going. Because St. Thomas, we were once strictly rural. But a lot of people don't recognize that Warrens, a lot of Warrens is actually physically in St. Thomas. And when you watch the spread now of the urban and the suburban coming further into the parish, the culture and the spirit of the parish may change. But what we need to do now is to share that with everyone. The new residents of St. Thomas come out and hear how old St. Thomas used to operate. Old St. Thomas will see some of the performances from new St. Thomas. We want to be able to create those blends, bring the people from all over the parish.
So you're hearing this, and when we say Moonlight Pun Steak, we're talking the history of, and we're talking, because sometimes, and again, I keep saying it, we travel places and we've forgotten how they looked before. Those are opportunities for us when we come out to these situations to share that.
Exactly.
What was there? Oh, that was what was there before. And you're startled because then it was John King's family that actually owned that particular house.
That's right.
You know,
in St. Thomas.
And so this offers us the opportunity to do so on that evening. Well, there'll be speeches, but we have a chance to ask questions.
Exactly.
And in doing that, talk among ourselves to really make it quite community.
That's it. Key word, building community, bridging the generation gap, getting people to, especially younger people, to understand the sacrifices and the work that the older people put in so that we could enjoy the things that we enjoy today. And I think once you begin to do that, it could only be better for the entire country. Because imagine you have these standpipe stories in every single parish. You have a mixture of younger people and older people listening to these stories, beginning to understand more so about each other and appreciating what in some instances when we were young, we probably didn't appreciate a lot of this stuff that the older people did. Sometimes we probably looked at it like they're so backwards. Exactly. You know, but then when you begin to look at it from with new eyes, with a new lens, you begin to understand that even in their times, they were so forward thinking because these are the people who were coming out of a slave experience, a changing world all around them, mechanisms, getting into things like a telephone, then a television, all these things start to bombard them. We take it for granted like these things were always with us, you know, we had it. We didn't.
I feel as if you were in the makeup room with us earlier. There's a little girl, our sound director, his daughter was here. And so I was saying to her, she asked me, how am I doing? I said, I'm good, girl, but you know, I feel so old. She said, how old are you? I said, I'm 3 million years old. She started to laugh. I said, yeah, man, I used to live under a glacier and then one day it had a crack and the sun came through and melted and I got up. While it was underneath, I was watching you guys using this thing called a cell phone. I wanted to find out more. You know? So the story's untold. And that's the point. It opens up for that kind of interaction. You have a little laughter, but you realize that there's a kernel of truth in everything that you're hearing. So the onus is on us now to be able to pass it on to the next generation. But we got to get to know it. And so on Sunday, Moonlight Punch Stick is going to be on the playing ground next to the post office or nearby.
Yes, there's the park right next to the post office in Washington Hall. You come up to the Ashford Road, the long road that everybody knows, and it's right next to the post office. And it's a beautiful opportunity to get that linkages, that understanding.
What time does it start?
It starts at 3 p.m. I believe it is, and runs up to 9.
Yeah, man, because we're going to see the sunset and the light come up on Stick.
Yes,
sweet. I love it. And that's also Sheldon Hope at the service boasted of all the entertainers from St Thomas. So who are some of the people who will be there?
We have the entertainers that we have from Moonlight on Stick, a lot of performing artists. So we have, I don't want to miscall the group, but they defer some people, the Fire Eaters and the Dramatics are doing a performance for us. They're the main attraction on Sunday. We have some singers as well. Sheldon is the coordinator, organizing that as well. So you know that confidence to know what we had at the church service and what was delivered is going to be there. But then also, I don't want to only focus then on Moonlight on Stick as well.
Some other things. So tomorrow.
So tomorrow now at 6 a.m. we have our walk, our nature walk through the very, very beautiful parts of St. Thomas. It's going to start at 6. The air is going to be crisp. It's going to be fresh. We're starting at the same post office in Washington Hall. We're going down through to Jack in the Box Gully, out to Clifton Hill Moravian Church. You know the history of the Moravian Church in St. Thomas.
One thing. Tell how cold it can be.
Well, you see, cold is relative, right? Cold is relative. You know, if it's a little slate on the head, you should wear a hat in the beginning, you know, because you don't need a scarf though. But you can go right around there. We ended at Mount Hillaby, right around the circuit across the Highlands. Some breathtaking views you're going to get. Bright and early in the morning. See some, if you're lucky, you get some mist as well. Hopefully no fog, because if fog is there, that means rain is falling. But if you get a beautiful morning, it is going to be enjoyable. And ending at the summit of Mount Hillaby, passing the summit of Mount Hillaby to go back to the meeting point, it's going to be absolutely.
Isn't that one of the things that you guys in St. Thomas continue to brag about? That you get rain every day.
Well, I grew up calling it Rain Central. We can almost guarantee that there's a drought everywhere else in Barbados, and somewhere in St. Thomas there was a sprinkle of rain at some point in time.
Well done. So that's at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. We gather by the post office.
Yes, we gather by the post office.
And then the gathering goes
right through the community.
So bring your light breakfast, a light snack, so that you want to keep yourself refreshed, because it's 6 o'clock and some people like to have a little something.
It will be cool, but you can still need your water. Bring your hat still, because the sun will rise. The walk should take about 2 to 3 hours depending on your pace. Bring your cameras, keep your phones charged, people. Make it an Instagrammable moment, you know, young and old, we all want to be on the gram. It is going to be a wonderful activity tomorrow morning, and we want everybody to come out and enjoy that.
Again, all of these are free, folks. Don't think there's a cost. Do I have to register? No. Just show up.
Yeah.
Just show up in your most comfortable wear, because you're taking your stroll as you go. And it's not a competition. It's not a road race.
Not a road race.
Take your time to explore and appreciate the nature that is St. Thomas, indeed.
Yes, indeed, for sure. We want, one of the things about St. Thomas that we want also to use that opportunity to bring as we go through the beautiful nature is to bring awareness of nature. Nature is our month. And we also in St. Thomas, we speak about it a lot amongst ourselves, how people sometimes illegally dump. The one thing that we will want to see is that if any person can see and encourage other people not to do that. Our beauty is fantastic. Our gullies are serene. They're important to the ecosystem of the country. And we want people to enjoy them. And hopefully by taking people through these places, there's a deeper appreciation so that people will refrain from dumping in our gullies and our systems. Because it's a problem we still have in the parish, despite how beautiful we are and we maintain. So that is something that we hope can be a positive spin-off as well from tomorrow's activity.
You said that, and in saying that, I remember the days, John, too young, when, you know, we would see things on the street and we'll pick it up. You've got to pick because we all took pride in our space. And it wasn't a case of, that's Kevin's work to do.
Exactly.
It was our responsibility to keep our surroundings clean.
And that came out of, again, those older folks telling us things like cleanliness is next to godliness. And so you took that to heart. And like you said, if you, I mean, even going to school, if you were the person who threw something there, your peers, as little as we were, they would say, no, pick it up.
They would check you on it,
pick it up.
Yep.
So these are parts and parcels of the lessons that we have to relearn as we go through this process called regathering. And St. Thomas is the ideal place for those of you who want to be able to enjoy the nature of things in Barbados, because like you said, the gullies are beautiful, but we have a problem with dumping. And maybe through this walk, in that month, you get the opportunity to go through and see how beautiful it is. That may strike a chord with those persons who do the illegal dumping. And they may say to themselves, you know what, I need to stop this. And again, if we can have things like that come out of regathering, that serves the purpose of us going forward in being a different kind of Barbados, one which is more conscious and concerned about the environment which supports our lives, basically.
So the walk is tomorrow, Saturday, 6 o'clock. We're gathering by the post office in St. Thomas, and we're going on the walk. Then on Sunday at 3 in the afternoon, we're gathering by the play park next to the post office for Moonlight Fun Stick. And that's going to run until late in the evening, because when the moon because we have full moon.
That's right.
Exactly.
How ironic.
We check the calendar.
They knew what they were doing.
The moon will come out. Yeah, we have artificial lighting, but let the moonlight shine.
Beautiful moonlight.
And we'll begin that standpipe story talking, so to speak, lecture period. But we have conversations with a little bit of entertainment. And I know coming up on the 21st, as well, you're having some other activities.
Yes, on the 21st we have our cricket match, I believe. No,
21st is
poetry at
and
Rock Hall, and the school quiz at Rock Hall, and then on the 22nd is a cricket match. But yes, on the poetry is the World Poetry Day on the 21st, and we're partnering with the Ministry of Culture in putting on a set of performances focusing on bringing out the talent in not just Barbados but parts in St. Thomas as well. And that's going to be at the Rock Hall Freedom Village, as you just mentioned. It's a pride of place in St. Thomas, knowing that we're the birthplace of freedom in Barbados. We have Rock Hall, also Bridgefield, as two of the first free villages in St. Thomas. So poetry, especially for our people, especially, is a good expression. I think it's a good match for the day and the time as well. Before we go, I also want to shout out to the schools as well. Yesterday we did the tree planting and the launch our environmental project, and they were all fantastic, and we're looking forward to the kids to participate in the Bennett, where they bring all the plastics from home to be able to part of recycle as well. So we're doing a lot of different things. We're not just here to have a party, but we want to have long-lasting, sustainable projects for our community to make sure at this project means something to the people of St. Thomas moving forward.
And you're doing it so well on a day that is World Down Syndrome Day, the day we shall rock our socks.
Yes.
Don't forget. Listen, I already told everybody on that day I will not be wearing shoes on this side because I will be rocking my socks.
Of course.
And that's what we're going to encourage people as well. So bear in mind that that's happening on that day. Is the police service community concert still on?
The police community concert is still on. That's been in the afternoon as well. That's the police band, and we're doing it to really connect. We're working with the police district, the police station to connect to the community, because you know that engagement between the youth and the community, you know, that's part of the process to help settling communities and creating trust and balance and creating law and order. So those are things that are very, very important to us and how we balance our approach to our month.
Right. I want to remind folks also on the 21st with the poetry at the Freedom Village. Last time, Chandler Prescott, he was talking about the shuttle service.
Yes.
From St. Thomas Parish. That's still on?
That's still on. That's still on. So you just go, you park at St. Thomas Parish Church, and you're shuttled over into Freedom Village. And for those persons who have never been to it, because there are a number of people who say, but John, I don't know where it is. I don't know where it is. So make it easy for you. Instead of you having to scratch your head to try to find it, just get to St. Thomas Parish Church and you'll be taken over to it. And I believe you me, when you go into that space, you will begin to understand what freedom really feels like. You know, when you go into the space and you see the monument, and you see the names on the list of names there, persons who actually got that land to start off. It's almost like it takes you back in time for you to begin to think about, but whoa, what was this like prior to them having this land? And then there's the lovely walk that you can take on the compound, from starting from the, I would call that the northern side of the place. There's a long winding bridge. Yes. And the whole idea of that is to give you that understanding that the road to freedom was not a straight road. It wasn't an easy thing. It had all these different stops and turns and all these kind of things. So it's a place where you can contemplate. And I think that also when people get into that space, we keep talking about appreciating our history and appreciating what others did. I think once you get into that space and you start to feel that vibe, and the poets themselves start to feed you with that mental food, lyrics, and get you to think about things, it's going to be a fantastic evening. And I really want to invite people from all over the island. If you've never been involved in poetry, you've got to come and see it, because the same way that we built up Crop Over and everybody was all about the calypso, just remember that every single calypso is poetry with music.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. And you mentioned the long and winding. Yeah. It meant that for freedom, it took time.
Time.
Someone on our platform is saying, what? Boy, St. Thomas is looking great. So many interesting places to you to see and activities to engage in. Well done. And that's when Patricia went. She's Patricia, come now home. Come now home, man. Stop staying where you are watching. You've been a voyeur. So just come home and engage with all of this, indeed. And so there's a lot happening. And there's a lot still to remind people of, and we shall do so. I know that flyer you have on your thing. The people are over there.
Okay.
So they're coming up next, if you don't mind.
Yes.
And so we want to encourage you to really get to know what's happening. Remember, tomorrow there's a scenic walk, begins at 6 in the morning. Tomorrow's Saturday.
Correct.
Wake up a little bit early, get yourselves ready, warm up, and get ready to get out there and have a good time as you take your way through and winding path through the scenic views of St. Thomas. There's also, is this the colon cancer screening on?
Colon tomorrow as well, in the evening, the colon cancer conversation. Is a colorectal month as awareness month, and they've asked the partner to bring that activity into St. Thomas so that people also come to the parish and get that additional information.
Great. Then on Sunday, we are attending right there at the Play Park next to the St. Thomas Post Office. Moonlight Punch Stick and Standpipe Stories, entertainment included, begins around 3. Get there early. On the 21st, the school's quiz competition, as well as the Barbados Police Service community concert later in the evening, and then we head up to the Freedom Village for poetry in that one space, and I'll tell you more next week. But you know, there's so much happening. Like Patricia said, it is beautiful. It's connecting you once again with nature and self, and so we want to encourage you to continue supporting the activities of St. Thomas all month of March. They're doing really, really well. I want to commend you for everything you've done so far. Well done.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
We're coming right back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
hour of inspiration, celebration, soulful praise, and uplifting messages that will refresh your soul and fill your heart with joy. Q Gospel, Sunday at 4 p.m. on Quality 100.7 FM radio, bringing you closer to the music, the message, and the ministry. It's your Sunday moment of praise and purpose, where faith meets music. Q Gospel, Sunday at 4 p.m. on Q 100.7 FM.
Welcome to Nature's Discount, the ultimate health food store. At Nature's Discount, we have thousands of quality products at great prices.
Hi guys, Dottie here with Nature's Discount, and today we are talking about Solar Ray, microbiome, probiotics, and why you should be taking them.
And we have well over 3,000 amazing products to help you get healthy.
For your health tips, tune in to CBC TV 8 every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday for Nature's Discount, sponsored by Get Healthy Incorporated.
Our world today is not the world God wants it to be. One of the reasons, which will surprise many, is that our planet, its governments, and its peoples are all living under the weight of Satan's rule. From the beginning of mankind's existence to today, human history is the written record of what it means to live under the rule of the devil. Yet that rule is coming to an end, and what a difference that will make.
Every Sunday at 9 a.m. on CBC TV 8, tune in for Tomorrow's World, sponsored...
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Approaching 12 minutes to go to the hour of 8 o'clock. Time is going by so very swiftly indeed, but I've been telling you, we have been indeed, about Family Fest 2025. And while there's no physical location for you to do so, remember a lot of stuff is happening online. And continuing to remind us of what else is coming up online is, of course, the man. When you think Family Fest, you think Cornelius Bartlett. And he's here. And he's brought along another man. And when you think men's, Fabian Sargent, and Fabian is here. Right? You know, everything comes together. Everything comes together. Again, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Pearson. Good morning, Barbados.
Listen, it's making an impact, you know, Cornelius. It's making a difference. Okay. And while I don't want to swell your head with that, I want it to humble you. So how do you feel knowing the difference that you're making?
It feels like a calling, really. And Fabian and I were talking earlier, you know, sometimes I've had my own challenges in my family. And I would say that God sometimes allows you to go through stuff to bring you to a place of being passionate about things you would not have been normally be passionate about if you had not gone through them. So, for example, you find that you have societies, whether it's cancer, whether it's diabetes, you find that people who have had cancer, they're more passionate about fighting cancer. Yeah?
I know what you mean. Yeah. I'm passionate about World Down Syndrome Day. Okay. My godson has Down syndrome.
Got you.
I'm passionate about glaucoma. That's why I'm wearing this green thing, this green badge, sorry, this green, because I know of relatives who had glaucoma. Yeah. And so that's what we're talking about. Get passionate about something. Rev energy up about it. But in revving energy up sometimes, you know, you misdirect simply because you don't quite understand what's going on. And these sessions that you're having as part of Family Fest allow us to refocus.
Yeah.
And then refocus and get serious.
Of course.
As well. So what's coming up?
Okay, what's coming up? And before I tell you what's coming up, let me tell you about the refocus. I like what you just said.
Go ahead. You always
take
things from me, you know.
Family Fest is about education.
Yes.
And a lot of people in their family lives aren't doing better because they don't know better. As simple as that may sound. And one of the things I realize about life is that we will never change as human beings. First of all, we're all messed up. 7 billion of us. We're all messed up. Some more so than others. But the road to recovery has to do with recognizing that there's something wrong with me. All of the areas of my life that has improved over the years, it wasn't because I was going along saying there's nothing wrong with me. It is all the areas that I would have recognized that I have issues with were the areas that I was able to address. So in line of what Family Fest mandate is, coming up is a panel discussion. Actually, it's part 2. We're looking at emotional intelligence in the family. And the first one went down so well. I mean, I thoroughly, personally, I watched it. And when it was finished, it felt like 5 minutes. Yeah. It was like near an hour. And it felt like 5 minutes. I was totally spellbound and shocked and riveted at what I was listening to. So we decided to have a part 2. And that's why we are here today to share with, or to encourage you to listen in. Emotional intelligence in the family is an extremely fundamental topic. And you'll be very shocked to know what this is unearthing.
A family is more than one. A family is a group of people who sometimes don't necessarily share the same values. And when I think of emotional intelligence, you're asking me to not just recognize how I feel, but to be able to, knowing what now I feel, choose a positive, a more informed response, not reaction.
Yeah.
Yes. And so, what's your role in all of this, Fabian? Men's?
So I believe I play a dual role. While I represent men, I'm also a professional social worker.
Okay. Let things come out. So, and that is for you in giving your job important, emotional intelligence.
Correct. We work with families, we work with young boys, we work with men. So while men may be my focus in terms of the organization, it is important to understand the role that men play in families and how men really, I guess how emotional intelligence impacts men and fathers and boys. We are so different, how men and women respond different. You know, we always say that women are emotional. Everyone is emotional. Everybody experiences emotions the same way. That is indeed what emotions are. But I believe it's how we respond to them.
And I want to pause for a second.
Sure,
because when we say,
no
we're all emotional, we think of tears and weakness.
Yeah.
That's all we say. Oh, you're too emotional. And we treat it as though it's a negative.
Yes.
But you're saying in this process, identify the emotion. Rather than labeling it as something negative or weak, it can truly be empowering.
Correct. And it is even a place sometimes where us men, who culturally we are told that we must be big and hard and strong, to help us get to a place of vulnerability, whereas we break down these false walls that we tend to build up and connect with our emotions and then position ourselves to respond in a more healthy, positive way. And not only that, it also allows us to connect with the individuals and the people in our space and their emotions. So emotional intelligence is extremely critical, and I really want to commend Cornelius and the Family Fest team. You know, I guess I'm a part of the family now. You know, but it is an amazing initiative that I think we really need to pay a lot more attention to, and not see emotional intelligence as an academic type of thing. It's not this thing in a book. You know, there are skills, and we should get to a point of understanding how do we now take what we learn and apply this to our daily lives within our families to strengthen our families and relationships.
Cornelius is itching to jump in on this. So much his feet were moving. Go ahead.
No, we're saying that, you know, I'm loving, you know, what Fabian is saying, because what Fabian is saying is so true and so fundamental. But as he was speaking, I was trying to put it in a way that I was thinking. I was thinking of what I learned, because Fabian and I, we would have shared a course years ago together called the Course in Emotional Intelligence, EQ Barbados, and I want to commend Tony Olton and his team at EQ Barbados for the fantastic and amazing work they're doing. But I remember one of the sessions where I learned this principle of what emotional intelligence does to the individual, or what it allows you to do. Know self. Choose self, give self. So you get to know yourself, because you know we're as human beings, we're great liars. We lie to ourselves all the time. A lot of people walking around, millions of us walking around, and thinking that we're all fine and we're all great, and you're beating your wife, and we're all great, and you're involved in infidelity. You're all great, and you're involved in all sorts of things emotionally. So as the lies to ourselves continue, we'll never heal. Our families will never get better. We'll never relate to our children better. Our husbands and wives wouldn't relate to each other better. We wouldn't relate as well in the workplace. But if you get to know self, you can then develop your best self. And then that best self you choose to give to someone who hopefully is doing the same thing. I mean, we could have heaven on earth. There's a lot to life, but I just found that this whole study of emotional intelligence, they're onto something. And I love it. I absolutely love it. And Fabian and I are two converts. We're two converts. And, you know,
One of the things I would like to add is that of understanding behavioral patterns. I am big on that because we are creatures, we keep saying we are creatures of habit, but it's really, we are creatures of patterns, you know. You come to work, you can sit in that same chair, you can bathe, you can hold the soap in the same hand, you know, you hold the towel in the same hand. You can do the same things every single day. And we develop behaviors in terms of how we treat our families, how we treat our spouses, our children, a pattern that because of a lack of self-awareness, we are not able to identify really the challenges within our behavior life. And emotional intelligence gives us that ability to really tap into who we are and understand those patterns that we have as individuals. Sometimes it's very painful. We don't want to often face who we are. I always ask persons, would you live with yourself? And sometimes, you know, it causes people to sit and think, you know, would I live with myself and all my habits, all my patterns? And emotional intelligence really puts us in a place where we get to understand self, you know, know self, as Cornelius just mentioned.
You saw I got the signal just now. So Cornelius, when is this session on emotional intelligence in the family?
Well, our part 2 session is going to be on this Sunday.
This Sunday.
On Facebook and YouTube. And Family Fest Barbados is the handle. Family Fest Barbados. Our advertising should be on all now. So if you look on Facebook or YouTube, put in Family Fest Barbados, you should see some sort of advertising. But it's Sunday at 5:30. So Sunday at 5:30, you want to tune in to Facebook or YouTube with the handle Family Fest Barbados.
Is this a session for adults only, or, and we're seeing the poster, you just saw it there, folks. Is this a session just for the adults, or we could have the children along as well?
No, this is for everybody. Everybody, as Fabian would have said earlier, everybody revolves around emotions, whether you realize it or not. Everybody revolves around emotions. So I would advise that you get grandparents, parents, children right before that screen and have a look. You can also comment as well because it's live. So you can also send in your comments or your questions to Facebook, and it will be fed through to the moderator, and you'll get to have your questions answered and so on.
Gotcha. This Sunday, 5:30 online, Facebook or Insta?
YouTube.
Or YouTube. Facebook or YouTube. Family Fest Barbados are the venues to turn up for this upcoming session looking at emotional intelligence in the family. It's for all ages, literally everyone. Thank you so much, Cornelius, as always, and Fabian Sargent, both of you.
Pleasure being here.
Fabian said to be upset a little too often. You're quite right. But always well done, gentlemen.
Thank you.
We're coming back in a moment, folks.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Our world today is not the world God wants it to be. One of the reasons which will surprise many is that our planet, its governments, and its peoples are all living under the weight of Satan's rule. From the beginning of mankind's existence to today, human history is the written record of what it means to live under the rule of the devil. Yet that rule is coming to an end, and what a difference that will make.
Every Sunday at 9 a.m. on CBC TV 8, tune in for Tomorrow's World, sponsored by the Living Church of God.
Week after week, Scald presents exciting reports and documentaries on the most varied topics of our time. Spectacular developments and innovations. Lifestyle and trends of tomorrow.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
That is it for today. No more riddles. Save it till next week, indeed. Marcia Roth, thank you very much. She says good morning to all of us. Good morning to Marcia as well. Be it God's will, I'll see you on Monday. But the little crew says thanks to all of you. Wishing you a fantastic weekend. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.